April 21, 1927. In the Mississippi Delta of Mississippi, families tended their farms, riverboats moved cargo, and towns relied on the levees that had protected them for years. Then, after months of relentless rain, the river reached a point no one could control. In an instant, the Mississippi Valley was changed forever. Throughout the summer and fall of 1926 and into the spring of 1927, unusually heavy rainfall drenched much of the Mississippi River basin. Tributaries swelled beyond capacity, and the Mississippi carried more water than engineers had ever recorded. Communities watched the river rise day after day, reinforcing levees and hoping the embankments would hold. By April, thousands of workers and volunteers patrolled the levees around the clock, stacking sandbags on weak sections. Families packed belongings, readied livestock for evacuation, and waited for news as the river pressed hard against the earthen walls. Then, on April 21st, the levee at Mound Landing, Mississippi, collapsed. Floodwaters burst through the breach and surged across the delta into Arkansas and Louisiana. Homes, farms, and railroads were swept away as large areas of towns disappeared under the rising water. In the days that followed, additional levees failed, allowing the flood to spread across an area larger than many U.S. states. At its peak, more than 27,000 square miles were underwater. Rescue efforts became one of the largest disaster responses the nation had seen. The American Red Cross, local authorities, volunteers, and the military evacuated survivors by boat and set up hundreds of refugee camps. Hundreds of thousands remained stranded for days on rooftops, levees, and high ground until help arrived. The human cost was immense. Approximately 500 people were killed, though some estimates run higher. Nearly 700,000 people were displaced, one of the largest internal displacements in U.S. history. Crops were destroyed, livestock perished, and communities faced months of recovery. The disaster showed that relying primarily on levees was not enough to contain the Mississippi during extreme floods. Congress responded with the Flood Control Act of 1928, authorizing one of the largest flood control programs in American history. Engineers expanded the levees, added floodways and spillways, and redesigned how the river would be managed. The Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 remains a sobering reminder that nature can overwhelm even humanity's greatest engineering efforts, and that true recovery after disaster must rebuild both the land and the lives of those most affected. Unearthed Hidden History. Unearthing new stories weekly. Follow or subscribe for more.